Hello, hello. I was muted. Good morning, Source Gaming. Good morning, Source Gamers. How y'all doing
Ah,
today?
we're we're doing good.
Doing
It's
good.
us. It's
Well,
just us.
yeah, it's just at this time. Which is not anything bad. There was that one time where I did a half episode where it was just me and I answered viewer questions. So it's not completely out of the ordinary to not have three people. It's just
Yeah, I
really
mean
rare.
sometimes we're just busy.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
It really do
well,
be
ho
like that.
hum. We're here now.
It'll be like that
Hello.
sometimes. How's everybody doing? And also let us know if the audio is good. I've tried my
Yes,
best to set it
please.
to where you can also hear me and Colin at an equal level, because otherwise Colin would be way louder than me.
Yeah, I'll just keep rambling on.
All right. So I guess originally we were supposed to do. Oops. Watch. Originally we were supposed to do an episode. I think what, 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and we were
Yeah.
like, we kind of
We
forgot.
probably we probably should have done something after Emio was actually revealed. We
Yeah, that would have been the best
we
time to
we
do
left
it.
that shit hanging like more than Nintendo did. Whoops.
Yeah,
But we'll
but
get to that.
we were just kind of all busy and forgot.
Yeah.
So we ended up, okay, well, we know we're gonna have to do it this time. We're gonna have to do it soon because of things that we will mention later in the stream. But of course, you guys are probably aware in the title. We're at episode 98, so
We're very
uh,
close to the
we're
big
very close to big 100.
100.
Yep. So we will talk about that and more. Um, uh, I don't know
The
about necessarily towards.
centennial episode of Good Morning Source Gaming.
I don't know if we'll discuss it like towards the end of today's episode, but we will discuss it just later, which it might be for the best. That to be. uh, but before all of that, our usuals. What have you been
Yeah.
up to? What you been up to, Colin?
Uh, I have to beat the to beat the fun hating allegations. I have immersed myself in a lot of superhero material in the past week to very strange payoff. I started the week by playing last year everyone's favorite game from last year, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. It
Oh,
was
really?
free. It was free through Prime Gaming, and I recently put a new SSD in my Steam Deck, and so I was like, wonder how that is. I
How
feel
was it?
like unlike most people on Twitter, I actually think the idea of a game where you play as the Suicide Squad and you have to, as the title implies, kill the Justice League. It's kind of neat. I don't like. There's like people online that are like, "This is desecrating Kevin Conroy's legacy," and those people need to like have a sip of water or like take a nap. Like, there's no guys. Like, what? Um, and there's like a lot about the game. I haven't like sank like 15 hours into it or whatever. There's a lot that I do like so far. I like the presentation, I like the characters, I like
Right.
the music's really good, the combat and movement are really good. Um but so far the game has been, you're in an open world metropolis and you just got to kill the same brainiac soldiers in different parts of metropolis
Mhm.
over and over again, and then occasionally there's a cool set piece and it's like
Does it get boring over time? Or
I
like draining?
it's like I don't know if this is going to hold up to like a whole campaign, a whole story's worth of stuff unless they actually like keep introducing new things into the mix.
Uh,
Also, because the game is games as a service, it just means that it's like constantly bombarding you with like
oh, that's right. It
numbers and
is.
shit that you don't it doesn't like. I think like the issue with the games as a service, I don't even know. I don't want to make like huge broad generalizations about like whole genres of video games, but I really do wonder if someone on the team of the Suicide Squad was like, all of this feels very like anti-comic book. Just like all these like fucking numbers and like guns and like waypoints and shit, like it feels like everything should be moving way more smoothly, or like there should be more abstract ways to convey different mechanics as opposed to opening up a menu and just being like, yeah, I want to upgrade this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it also kind of hurts that I played the Guardians of the Galaxy game last year, which is just like a straight up like 20-hour linear action RPG.
Right.
And that's a great game. Like it's like it's all story. It's like it's solid. It's a good time. Um so I don't know. Right now I guess I'll just have to keep playing and seeing how that turns out, how killing the Justice League ends up being. But oh man, I mean, like that's the thing though. Like this is a Rocksteady game. It still has all that like Rocksteady, like polish and charm to it. For a bit, the way you play the game is that you can choose to play as either four members of the Suicide Squad, and then the other three members in your party are either bots, or you can online matchmake if you really hate yourself. And I just play offline with bots, or it's more like online with bots. You can't play the game offline. Cool. Um,
I
but
thought didn't they take like didn't the game get delayed for a short while because of that complaint? I thought they changed that. Did they not?
well, you still have to connect to the WB servers every time you boot up the video game. So I,
I was.
um, but
Okay.
I love how like the movement and the combat are really good. I especially love how well it's animated. You when you play as Captain Boomerang, you have like flashes. He has like a speed gauntlet that allows him to copy Flash's like abilities. And so the way they do like, you ever see those shit ass, fuck ass, like UE5, like, this is what the Flash would look like in a video
Oh,
game, and it's
yeah.
just like a dude running through a city really fast?
Yeah.
The way they do it is that Boomerang throws his boomerang, and you can control how far you throw it. And then it shows Boomerang, like, running, like, all around the environment in different ways to,
To catch his
like,
boomerang?
what?
To catch his boomerang or
Well, to elicit the feeling of like speed, that he's like super sprinting to the destination, like he's running across all the buildings in like the foreground and the background to get to the destination, instead of it just being like a teleport or like a leap or something. It's really hard to explain without just like straight up showing the animation, but basically what I'm trying to say is that like you get like really serious airtime in this game, and it's like animated really good. Like it just feels good to like just move around Metropolis as these four dudes. I like King Shark. He just like leaps. He can just fucking jump like 70 feet into the air. Like
that's weird.
that's good
I mean, it's not
stuff.
weird. It's funny.
Yeah, it looks no. It's just it's fun. It's good stuff.
I do.
But
I have no. I've outside of like first like the films, of the Suicide Squad. That's like my experience that goes as far with them. I wasn't against the idea of a Suicide Squad game. I guess it's just more like the presentation of it, or like realizing that, oh, it's gonna be like a live service game. It's gonna be mostly like, seems like it's gonna be like a lot of shooting. Or at
yeah,
least it seemed, it just kind of threw me off. Where I was like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely not gonna be interested
it's
because
like
it's not too. But I'm also like not that big of a superhero person in general. Not that I don't like them, but I just usually like have specific ones that I do like, being Spider Man and Iron Man.
mm,
So like because I'm already so used to like, oh, I like this thing. You really have to pull me in really hard in order to get me to try this. And it's not my thing just from a viewer standpoint, but it's totally possible that if I played the game, I'd be like, oh yeah, I can dig this for like a little while.
yeah. I feel like I mean like kind of one of the I feel like one of the worst criticisms you can give something is that like, oh well, this isn't what truly what I wanted, you know. And then it's like, well, they made a decision to make a like games as a service Suicide Squad, so you'll just have to engage with it as is. And then
Yep.
it's like Still doesn't really work, but I guess I get it. Like, I think the issue is that games as a service games are meant to just be like stretched out as long as possible. So like the formula of this game has to be as like loose as possible so you can just like, they don't have to keep like constantly making new environments for this like very expensive big game. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know, maybe like full priced games as a service is like a little like over, like it's like a bit too much, especially when you have a game like this that ends up being like controversial and then no one buys it and then you just like don't have any like revenue coming in, so then you just
Right.
have like this weird, and then it sucks because nobody wins, like,
Yeah, because then the game goes end of service, and it's like, okay, well, now the people
yeah.
that bought it kind of lose out on that game that they just paid for, and also everything within it that they paid for.
Yeah, they're also like they're doing seasons, which is also weird for like a story driven thing. Like they like I wasn't even aware of the dates of when these like seasons begin and ends because I usually just ignore the battle pass screen. The battle pass screen of any video game should be ignorable. It should not be like a crucial component, but it unfortunately is. But yeah, like I guess there was a whole storyline where they meet the Joker, but that's over. Now it's Mrs. Freeze. It's like, can I ever figure out what that was about? It's like, I guess I can buy the Joker and add him to my squad, but that's not nearly as fun as like, you
Wait,
know,
so if the season like passes, you don't get to experience that story? Is that how that works?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
And it's like I don't wanna like put that ignorance as like they didn't tell me, so this game sucks, but it's more of like it's more of the feeling of uncertainty that sucks in this situation more than anything else. Just like this
Mm.
feeling of like, oh, you can just miss out on a chunk of story. And it's like, well then what? Well, sad day. But I don't know. I'll still mess around with it, I guess. I don't think I have anything else better to do. Speaking of not having anything else better to do, I watched all the Fox X-Men movies.
Oh, yeah.
And
Okay. Yeah, I saw you
and
talking about that in another media with Eric, I think.
yeah, well, the Deadpool and Wolverine came out Friday, so I had to I was never like super well versed in the X-Men movies. I had only really seen like Days of Future Past and Apocalypse and Deadpool 1. I had not seen anything else. Honestly, it was kind of confusing because it's just like every other year there's a new Wolverine movie and everyone's not sure if it's like a reboot or like a sequel.
Wait,
Even like First Class, Days of Future Past, and Apocalypse still don't like they don't really know if they're prequels or it's like a separate timeline where everything just ends up going into X-Men 1, 2, and 3 anyway. They're very odd movies, but I guess that's what you expect from like super hardcore studio pictures where the studio didn't want anything resembling comic booky because that's nerd shit and that wouldn't have been mainstream in the 2000s. And also they just kept an abuser on the payroll to keep making these things. So, you know, uh they're just kind of they have kind of rancid vibes, honestly. Like rewatching all of them, it was kind of a surprise watching the James Mangold ones. Everyone talks about Logan. Logan's a great movie, but even the Wolverine is like pretty good and almost no one talks about that movie anymore.
I I'm kind of I have not the best experience with the X-Men movies, unfortunately.
Mm.
Cause so back in like maybe like '07 or something or '06, when I was like really
Mm.
young, they had us. I was in a summer camp, and they had us watch X-Men 1 and X2 constantly back to back on the TV. So it
Yeah.
completely made me like write off anything about that. So I was like, I don't like the X-Men. They're so annoying. These suits are annoying. I don't care about seeing them fight on the Statue of Liberty anymore. It's so annoying. It was just
You know
so
what happens when
irritating.
a toad gets struck by lightning?
Uh,
Same as anything else that gets struck by lightning.
so like I don't want to say that those movies aren't that bad. That's not what I'm testing either. Because I have friends that love the movie.
There's
I just have seen it so many times where it's like I don't seeing
there
something that many
are
times just makes you write it off. It's like okay, I'm tired of it. Annoyed.
there are maybe like two of them that are truly terrible. I will say I did not include watches of Dark Phoenix and New Mutants, mainly because I had totally fucking forgot they existed. But also they are irrelevant to Deadpool and Wolverine, so it doesn't matter. I'll come back to those later when I feel like it. Um, but yeah, like I- like X1 is okay. X2 is like the same movie again, and then X3 is the same movie again except it's worse. And then X-Men Origins Wolverine is like the funniest thing you could I like I had a very like similar emotion to watching X-Men Origins the same way I did like 2 months ago. I talked about this on GMSG. I like rewatched Phantom Menace and I was kind of like mulling over like,
I
oh,
remember that. Yeah.
the the culture around the Phantom Menace and how people reacted to it. Like I don't really care for that movie, but like I don't think it's one of the worst things ever. But then you watch something like the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes or X-Men Origins Wolverine and you're
hmm
like, I have to send a written apology to George Lucas and like he doesn't deserve he's never made anything this embarrassing.
Wow.
X-Men Origins Wolverine is like I that's like a film where it's like we're in the jungle and it's clearly like a studio backlot with fake trees.
Yeah. So you
It's
can
like and
tell.
it's not even really trying to hide it.
Sucks.
It's have you I guess you haven't seen it. Do you know about Deadpool in that movie?
No, I have not seen that one now.
I gotta. Oh my god, hang on. Don't go anywhere, because you know how Deadpool normally looks, right? Like
You mean with the mask off or with the mask on?
just but just in general.
Yeah, I think I do. I hope I
Okay,
do.
he's got the red suit. He's got the mask.
Uh huh. Yeah.
Hang on. let me.
Am I gonna have to put this on stream?
Yes, you will, because
Oh
this
lord.
this this shit is like, this is like studios missing the point of it. Like this is like people complain about like MCU costumes not like having too many lines or something. Look at this, man.
That what is that?
That's Deadpool.
I don't. Hold on. Let me put this up
That's
on the.
Deadpool. That's him. That's the merc with the mouth. Well,
Okay. Can I? How can I add this? Let's see. Five other. Let's see how this works.
the merc without the mouth.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, that works.
You've just added a browser source. There it is. The man
I
of the
don't. Oh,
hour.
whoops. It's other than. Here we go.
There's like something fucky going on with those like Fox X-Men
Oh
movies and
god.
the costumes too. Like for some reason in X-Men 1 it's like they like I guess they really didn't want any of the suits to be colorful because it was the 2000s. But like they're all wearing like bike gear. Like it doesn't they don't look like they're wearing superhero suits. And then you have Oscar Isaac in X-Men Apocalypse who just looks like he walked off of fucking Power Rangers from the 90s. Have you seen that?
Wait. Repeat that. Repeat that, please.
Have you seen Oscar Isaac in X-Men Apocalypse?
No, I have not seen that movie. I haven't
He
seen
looks like
after X-Men 2. I was like, I don't want to watch any of these movies anymore. I don't
he
care.
he,
I haven't watched any of
he
them.
looks like a fucking here, I'll send you. I'll send you.
What is the purpose of the lines though?
Cuz he's Deadpool.
That's so strange.
It's-
actually quite nasty to look at. Oh,
It's really not good. And then I've sent him Oscar Isaac as
so
X-Men Thanos.
that is a really funny screen grab that you got.
It doesn't get better. Like, hang on, he's doing there's like this one image where he's doing the fucking like Jeb pose.
Jeb pose?
You know,
The oh
the 100% of the electoral votes.
oh
He's
the
like he's got his hand. Look, just look in stream channel.
this the one that you just posted?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's some silly ass shit. And the thing is
Where to
that like
go?
I actually like superhero movies doing
Uh-oh.
stuff that's like inherently really like inexplicably and like visually silly. And so like that's kind of like why I like the first the first two Deadpool movies. Not that I think they're like incredible action superhero masterpieces.
The image doesn't
They're
want to
kind
pop
of
up.
annoying, but they are like fun. They're more personable. Like you can tell Ryan and company care a bit more about the comics
There
and
we
these
go.
characters than like Bryan Singer and co. That is such a good screenshot.
That is a really good screen grab.
He's just like,
Centerpiece.
oh,
Thanks for
I
all
don't
this
even want to
expression.
explain. I just remembered the context of what's going on in that image. I'm not even gonna explain it. I'm just
I mean, he did this, right?
it's like him and Magneto.
Why would wait like Magneto
I
teamed up with
really don't
him?
want to explain X-Men Apocalypse.
Okay.
It's like it's the longest film ever made, and really all that happens in it is Charles Xavier earns his baldness by the end of the movie, and then we all go home. It's really not. No. And so then I finally saw Deadpool and Wolverine
How was it?
on Friday, and it was okay. It's been getting like some real like both ends. Like there are I like my Twitter has been inundated with critics who are like, this is like the worst anti-art thing I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, relax.
And then I'm just seeing everyone else that is like, this is just the most fun thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Which side of the spectrum do you fall
And
on?
I'm just like kind of in the middle. I feel like I don't hate all of it. I don't even want to. I don't want to throw more fuel on the fire, especially because this movie's gonna make $1 billion anyway, and I think there's just a lot of people who are just happy to see all these characters on screen. But I do, after having watched all of these fucking X-Men movies and the first like rewatching the first two Deadpools, like uh, it was very weird watching a movie that's like has so much like reverence for everything I just watched, but it's like it doesn't have like the same like gumption or anything really. I just like I it's got like this like fuck ass attitude about
Hmm.
that movie. I don't like the movie opens with Deadpool being like, "Can you believe I'm Disney's making me let like I'm making Disney's making me let Disney's letting me make a Deadpool movie." And then it's like, "Well, yeah, the first two did so well." Like, of course, like I'm not dumb. Like I know how the movie industry works. And then it's like this is also Marvel's one movie of the year. Like he's
Is the only
literally
one? Really?
yeah.
Oh, thank God.
The next one is Captain America, and that's in January of next year, I
Oh,
believe.
jeez. Okay.
Um,
The Secret Wars also, or is it Doomsday happening? Is that also?
2027.
Oh, that's 2027.
Secret
Okay.
Wars is 2027. Doomsday. We'll get to that in a second.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Um,
Talk about that.
but yeah, I don't know. It's like I was having a conversation with someone yesterday about
Mm,
Spider-Verse versus like whenever any of these live action movies are trying to do the multiverse, and I think it's because like the way baggage is placed in the Spider-Verse movies and how that handles the multiverse is completely different, because Spider-Verse is not about seeing things you already recognize. It's about pulling Spider-Men from all across
the
Spider
Spider Verse.
history. Like Spider Noir does not have the same baggage that putting like Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash does.
Okay.
Because putting Michael Keaton's Batman in the Flash is like you're doing this for nostalgia. You specifically chose this Batman and this look because like you thought this would be
Cool.
the
And make
the
money.
the the box office bucks for the movie. It's not. It's just like not the same.
Right.
Um, I don't even want to say it's inherently a bad thing. It just is different. And even then, Spider Verse is so heavily focused on talking about like concepts like canon. Um, not to do like not to spoil the whole movie. I guess here's the Okay, so at the I'm sorry for the next 3 seconds, but I really got to get this out of the way. And also, it's just something everyone talks about anyway, so I don't even think it's that big of a spoiler. But basically, at the end of Deadpool and Wolverine, Deadpool does a Kyle Broflovsky South Park. Don't you see? Like he literally turns to the camera and like explains the moral of the story. And he's talking about how the multiverse sucks and is overused, and we're sick of it. And I was like, no, the issue with the multiverse is that everything still as has to like adhere to one timeline, and so any sort of like like basically the plot of this movie is look at all this stuff that they will not allow us to actually put in the MCU, so it has to exist in a space separate from the
Let's see.
MCU, like a literal desert of unused characters. And there is like, considering the context that led to this movie, which is Disney buying an entire fucking movie distribution company, the vibes are just like way off.
Right.
And I'm just like, the whole time, I'm just like, instead of prefacing this movie like, we're finally putting Wolverine and Deadpool in a movie, and it's like, oh, fucking Disney's finally letting us do it. Just do it. Like, just drop the fucking pretense and have fun with yourselves.
Oh, so they talk so much about like the fact that they can do it rather than just doing it.
Yeah. And it just
Yeah, that could be
like
annoying.
it
That sounds
feels
very
very
annoying.
weird for a movie that is like Marvel's one output for the year. And also like it's a $250 million R-rated movie. Like you guys are at the top of the industry. There is nothing anyone can say about the MCU that is punching down at this point. They are literally just do it. Like I don't even know why we have to wait 3 years for Secret Wars. Just fucking do it now. Get everyone in the green screen room and just start pumping these things out. Why do we have to keep going on about like timeline and canon and all this bullshit? And I think it's hurting other stuff too, because then you see all of like the Sony Spider-Man stuff. Interesting how Deadpool and Wolverine just completely glosses over the Spider-Man movies. Like I guess those timelines are protected. Andrew Garfield's okay.
I mean, I guess having to go through the whole like Sony thing to be able to discuss about it and all that
Yeah.
stuff.
But it did make me think about like Morbius and Madam Web and Venom, and how those movies, like, they're not even allowed to say like Peter Parker, like
Yeah, no.
they can't even like allude to the fact that they're kind of in like the same universe as another character, because they don't, for marketing reasons, they don't want to be like, oh well, this they don't want to have to explain later that this is all not like canon and in each other,
Doesn't
like with
matter.
each other, even though it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't. None of this should fucking matter.
I mean,
They should
because
just be allowed to keep making X-Men movies if they really want to, or not. They can move on.
I think it's
Why do
the
we?
case that because the fans really care as well. So it's like, oh, because the fans care, we have to care because then we're not just making something where it's like they're not just making something to make it. They're making something where clearly there is going to be a lot of care from the people that are, or at least the core, like the core people that are going to watch it, even though like everybody watches these films, probably don't
Yeah.
like watch every single one, but they still watch them. The core people that do care are gonna, acknowledge these things and want things to connect together. Otherwise, why would they be making everything to be connected in the first place if they're not gonna care about connecting it, or making sure that there are things that aren't connected that don't disrupt the plans that we are trying to establish.
I mean,
Like they have
arguably
all these
they're at
phases
a.
and shit like that.
I mean, arguably they are at a point where it doesn't even matter. Like technically, like Endgame, sort of like they could have just used that as a jumping off point to reboot things, but now we have
Yeah.
a Deadpool and Wolverine movie that's actually a sequel to the Loki show, and now we have a Doctor Strange 2 that's actually a sequel to WandaVision. And that's weird when they could just like do movies with characters fighting new villains and having self-contained stories. But whatever. The action was fun. The cameos were cool. I like how in this movie, they got I'm not gonna spoil the cameos. I'm not an asshole, but I like how, unlike No Way Home, where they just have Toby and Garfield just standing there saying
Right.
like pizza time and shit. Um, when they actually bring back a character in Deadpool and Wolverine from a movie you haven't seen in 20 years, they actually are given like 5 minutes of screen time to like bounce around and fight a few people. And that's nice. I kind of wish the whole movie was like that. Like the whole movie, like the main plot of the film is they go to like a TV, like they go to the junkyard. It's like this big wasteland of used over characters. It looks kind of Mad Maxy. They even make multiple Mad Max jokes. There's a Furiosa joke which feels a little wrong because that movie flopped like 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But they didn't know. I'm not gonna pin that on them.
Oh yeah,
but,
they wouldn't have known. Yeah.
they wouldn't know. But the whole time I was like, damn, could you imagine how much cooler this movie would be if they had like made Marvel Thunderdome or like Marvel Mortal Kombat with like Foxverse characters? Just felt like they could just do more at any point. All these superhero movies, they have all this money, they have all these characters, they could always be putting more, and yet they're always putting just like quick kind of glimpses. And in this movie, it just feels a little weirder because like it has less of a story than Deadpool 1 and 2. Like it just feels like the plot of this film is explicitly like, I gotta stop the Fox movies from being decanonized, which okay. Like it's just like a weird like I don't know. Those older X-Men movies are like allegories about class and gender and equality and bigotry, and then this movie is just like, we've come so far, and this movie is just like, well, when a studio owns an IP, they can put characters in a movie.
I've been considering going to go see it because the trailers did look really cool for it. But
I mean, you should go see, if you're interested in going to see any movie, you should go do it. Go to the theaters.
Right? Knowing that it's gonna be about like, oh, it's about, because like in that final trailer, I'm not gonna say who it is, but like seeing like that character that was in the trailer, I was like, oh, I know they are from this thing. I haven't seen that thing. And I also haven't seen a lot of other things that are clearly related to this, to like all the X-Men stuff, or even to, like I haven't even seen the other previous Deadpool films. So it's like I want to see it because it looks really cool. At the same time, I think my enjoyment will be greatly hampered by a lot of these things that I'm clearly not understanding. Because that was a similar thing that I had with Furiosa, where it's like I still enjoyed the movie, but I could definitely tell that in comparison to other people that were in the theater, I was not as interested in things that were happening because I just didn't have the knowledge of why this thing matters or what this thing is, or like where is the significance.
Well, Furiosa is a movie that like is sort of designed where you don't that's not really like specific. Like you can like it's sort of like things are introduced the same way. Honestly, everything in like Furiosa is kind of reintroduced the way like from Fury Road.
Mm,
You can watch in like both in either order, and I don't think you would actually like you would still like kind of understand how things are going. They're pretty straightforward.
gotcha. Um, I've seen a lot of good things about Deadpool. Wolverine. I've seen a lot of mixed things about Deadpool. Wolverine. I'm just on myself. Do I want to go watch it, or because of that fear of like, am I gonna be enjoying myself or not? Because I also don't really see movies by myself either. I like watching movies with other people, talking about them like
Dang.
right after I come out the theater. So
Mm.
if that person also doesn't have an interest in going to see it, then it's like, okay, well, I guess we're not gonna go see it because I'm not a person who likes to watch movies by myself, unless like I don't like going to the theater by myself. I'm fine with watching movies by myself, like at home, sure. But when I'm going to the theater, I like being with somebody because I like that experience of talking with a person right after I get out the theater. Very fun. Sitting
I
in the theater with
agree,
another
but I
person is
also
really
don't
fun.
mind going to the theater alone.
Yeah.
I can just
I've
talk to someone
never
online or something.
I've never done that. And I don't know when I'll do that. When I have that first experience of doing that. I don't know what movie it could be for, but it'll probably be something of
You're
course
gonna like
animated. Or maybe
one day
Sonic
you're
3,
gonna
I'll do that.
one day you're gonna subscribe to AMC A Stubs, and then you'll get it.
I already have
You'll
AFC stubs.
Oh, then there you go. Fucking, you should be like walking into the theater willy nilly, being like,
Look, that
"Fuck it,
costs
long
money.
legs time, baby." What?
That going to the theater costs money that I like always contemplate on doing because it's like, oh, do I want to eat before I go watch the movie? Well, I'm gonna also be hungry. I'm gonna be sitting there for like 2 hours or potentially less or more. So I might get hungry again. So that mean want to buy theater food? And it's like, okay, well, I do like theater food, but also it's pretty expensive.
Babe, you just gotta like pocket a bag of pretzels. That's like
I don't like always doing that.
they don't even check anymore.
They
They don't
don't
even
check.
give
Look,
a shit.
they don't check. I still know what
They
is
used
right
to
and
check.
wrong
This is
though.
people don't remember. They used to check if you had
I
snacks
know,
on
I
you,
know,
and
I
now
know.
they
They used to
don't.
check.
They serve whole fucking hamburgers at AMC now, and they don't even care. It's
Look,
like
the AMC that is in the Bronx is literally connected to a Burger King.
hell yeah.
So like, I could easily like, hey, I'm gonna go to Burger
And
King,
pocket a
take some
rodeo burger, and just
pocket some Burger King, and then I'm gonna go to AMC Theater. I shouldn't be eating Burger King though. The last time I ate Burger King, my stomach felt like garbage.
yeah, that is true. That is true.
So that's the problem too. It's like,
Understandably.
oh, if I want to eat something, I probably shouldn't be eating necessarily something that's outside because then I'm gonna end up feeling really bad.
Well, you know what, Phantom? You know what I had during
Yeah.
you know what I had during Deadpool and Wolverine?
The
A,
windy
a
soggy biscuit.
bottle of water.
Oh,
That's what I had.
I'm not gonna drink. I don't drink water. I'm watching a film. What's wrong with you? I want to eat popcorn and drink soda.
What's wrong with hydration?
There's nothing wrong with hydration. It's just that certain drinks are made for certain times. Water is an every time drinking, yes, but while I'm watching a film, I want to be eating popcorn and drinking soda. Just like
I
how
do agree with
when I'm eating pizza, I want to be drinking like soda.
I do agree with the sody pop thing. I always love going to the Coke freestyle machine. But
Yeah.
also, they should start like you know what they really need to do. This is like the most time burningest episode of Good Morning Source Gaming. What they need to do is start serving iced coffee at movie theaters. I do not understand why I can't just get the most basic coffee, milk, ice.
I think I've never thought about that really, and I think it may be because that means that they would have to have like a person prepare it back there too with all the other food and stuff like that. So maybe they just don't
No,
want
but
to
they
add
have
another
instant
one.
coffee.
They have
Or they
what,
can
huh?
just serve. They have instant coffee, or
You
they
really
can
want
just
instant
have
coffee?
like yeah, it's fine. Or
Yeah.
they have cans. You can get like the canned cold brew.
Oh, okay. I like canned coffee. I like canned.
Yeah.
So I get that.
There's a lot of
I
bad
don't
canned
think-
coffee, but
I
you know they
maybe
could
it's
just
a
put
mood
they could
thing.
just put a cold brew in there or something. You know, like
It could be just a mood thing because I definitely wouldn't. Can't see any person or even myself drinking coffee while watching a film. Like that doesn't. I can't. Does coffee
Why
go
not?
well with popcorn?
well, I don't.
I've never tried it before, so I don't know. It could.
No, no, no. I don't mean with popcorn. I either mean by itself or like I don't know. They should also serve fruit at the AMC.
They
TBH, like a little
they serve fruit
salad.
snacks.
No, that's not the same. I want
It's
like
not the
some
same, no.
slices of so I want some mango spears at the fucking AMC. You know what I'm saying? Like
I mean, that's interesting, but that if you're going to, you might as well just have a theater at home at this point if you want to be eating healthy.
no, I want the IMAX screen.
Look,
I want the big fucking screen with my little fruit. My little fruit and coffee.
I mean, I guess because it's healthy food, they do have the incentive to charge you more, so maybe they should do that.
Yeah, well, that's the point. Like, basically, like the whole point of theater food is it's there if you're like, fuck, I really
I'm
need
hungry.
these Skittles. Like
Yeah.
that's why it's there.
You want these Skittles? Pay up $6.
Yeah,
Loser.
yeah, gotcha.
You weren't
Goofball.
smart enough to bring in your own food that we're not gonna check. Dumbass.
Actually, before the movie, before Deadpool and Wolverine, I had fried rainbow cookies.
What?
Do you know what a rainbow cookie is?
I assume it has like sprinkles on it that are rainbow colored.
Oh my god! Oh my god! And you live in New York?
What is that? I've never heard of a rainbow
And
cookie
you live
in my
in
life.
New York?
Yeah, I live in New York. What are you talking
You
about?
live in New York?
What the hell's a rainbow cookie? I probably
You
have
don't
seen it.
know about the Italian American classic rainbow cookie?
Rainbow. Is it like rainbow chocolate chips, or I guess rainbow
It's
chips?
like a 3-layered cake cookie.
Oh, are you talking about the 3-layer cookie with like brown in between? It's like orange, like
Yeah, it's got like a little
green,
bit
and yellow.
of like yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a 3. I always call that a 3-layer cookie though. I don't call that a rainbow cookie.
Well, it's a rainbow cookie.
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what these are. Of course, I've never had one,
Oh, they're good.
but I know what they are. Yeah,
They're good.
are they really?
And I had one fried, and it was good.
That doesn't even look like a cookie, to be completely honest. It looks like the layering that's inside looks like cake.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like super spongy and soft and kind of jammy a little bit. It's so good. It's tart.
Refers to 3-layered almond flavored. It's almond flavored. I probably wouldn't like it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm not crazy big on almonds. It's
Well, okay, big, okay,
Yeah, you're
big
big
ego,
boy.
big attitude. What the
Hey,
fuck
hey,
have you
whoa,
been
whoa.
playing this week?
I'm not.
What have you?
I'm not saying people are inferior for eating almonds. I'm just saying, in some cases, I really don't like the taste of them.
All right.
I don't even know what the word is to describe it, but it's like there's like a. Oh man.
Cyanide.
No. Like, oh man, it feels like there's like a airiness is not the word, but it's like that there's like a high tense frequency or something like that I get in my mouth when I eat an almond, and it's like this feels really raw. it just everything like tastes like really weird, and everything like at that point it's just very strange.
What are your opinions on other nuts? May I ask?
That's okay. I wouldn't phrase it like that, but
No, now the people gotta know. Now you gotta. This is now a nut tier list
okay.
stream. You gotta.
Peanuts. S. Peanuts. Just regular.
Honey
salted.
roasted or salted or not
salted,
unsalted?
salted peanuts is or lightly salted is S tier. Honey roasted I'd say is also S tier actually.
Okay.
What the cashews? A tier, absolutely A tier.
Okay, I love cashews.
What's it called? Pecans.
Yeah.
B tier. I think they're fine. I think pecans are fine. Sometimes they taste weird. Sometimes they taste good. So it's like a nice middle ground. What else we got? Almonds is like I've had some good almonds, but I've had some almonds where it's like this tastes really weird. So it's got like a B, like low B kind of C.
Gotcha.
What other nuts are there?
Walnuts.
C. Honestly, I like this.
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
Macadamias.
I think that's another like BC. It's so mixed. I've had pistachios is like a high A if not S.
All right.
Pistachios are really good. I really like pistachios.
All right, I see. Now that I've calmed down, what have you been playing recently?
Okay.
Now
So I
that
have
we got that
been
squared away.
playing a lot of Tekken 8 lately because the game actually came out for me. Lydia Sobieska, the Polish Prime Minister, that was the final character of Tekken 7, finally came to Tekken 8, and I have
Wow.
been playing her like crazy. It actually got me to buy the game during EVO because the game was now
Ooh.
what, 30 or 40% off. So instead of being $70, it was $40. It was just like,
I
oh,
was gonna say
immediate grab.
all the banger like fighting games from like the past year are now hitting
Yeah.
very affordable prices. I saw
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 6 for like $20. I was like, ooh,
Kind of makes me wish
ooh,
I
I
had
just
bought it
might.
then. Because
Yeah.
I bought Street Fighter 6 the day it came out, and
Ooh.
I granted I also bought it through CD keys, so I got it. I think I got the game for 60 while also getting the character pass, the year one character pass for basically $0.
Hmm.
Uh, and buying it later, a lot later, probably would have been a better idea because I haven't really been playing Street Fighter 6 that much.
Dang.
As soon as like after what, maybe 2 months, I kind of went back to Strive or just other games that I had to play for work related stuff.
Hmm.
And not that the game is bad or anything, of course, like that. It's just that now that things catching my interest more. And now Tekken 8 completely has my interest because this character that I like that is literally just karate, karate the girl, is in the game, and I took karate as a kid, so it also just it's that relation also, and the combination to really liking her character design because I really like the color red as well. So
Hell yeah.
she's basically the character that I've been waiting for it to get into this game to make this game a reason worth purchasing, and now it is worth purchasing. And I've been labbing her, basically trying to really get into Tekken 8 now that she's here. Um,
Nice.
Anything else that I've been playing? What else have I been? Oh, Guilty Gear Strive's Team of Three beta came out this week or this weekend,
Hmm.
and it's a bit of a. It's hard. I don't want to say it's a mess because I actually do enjoy playing it. Granted, it's hard to find some matches because there's not. It doesn't seem like there's too many people playing it right now. But for a team mode, it definitely does things that are quite weird. Like you're able to cast effects onto your main person, or if you're assist, you can hop in to cast effects like, hey, attacks do poison damage, or like, hey, heal some health, or hey, cast some lightning that strikes the opponent from the sky, things like that. And it's like, okay, that's weird, but it doesn't seem completely invasive, except for the fact that they occur mid fight. So like if say for example, if you're like in the middle of your kick animation and the person's assist hops in to attack you, that's not gonna stop the person that's being assisted. That's not gonna stop the assist. They will still attack you. So it's basically like you can be mid combo and get interrupted. And I kind of don't like that. I
Hmm.
don't like being interrupted because that's not what any other tag fighter does. Any other tag fighter is like, hey, oh, you tried to attack me, but I'm like but you attacked at the wrong point. Now you're getting punished for that, like a fighting game would do. But this is not doing that, and it's like I would prefer that they change that. I don't know to what level they will go about changing that because they probably have been doing work on this for quite a while. So to get rid of aspects like that, even if it may be to the benefit of the player, might not be something they want to do, like getting rid of hard work that you implemented into the game only to take out because people don't like it. Might be a, hey, we'll tune some stuff up, but you're still gonna get this mainly the way it is. Sorry. And I'm not completely sure about that.
Yeah,
um
that's
I've also, give me a second, actually let me go to this real quick.
like a whole headache and a half.
I'll be right back in a minute. Or
Oh no,
less than a minute, probably like
less
10
than a
seconds.
minute. How am I gonna fill in the dead air? Oh god. I also saw Twisters in 40x last week. It sucks you can't see it in 40x anymore. It was fun. I like that the climax of the movie is in a movie theater, so all the seats are rumbling in the theater and on screen, and it's like, wow, that's that's movies. That's movie magic right there. He's still going. What else did I watch recently? Oh God. Uh, 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 it's like opening up my
Okay,
letterbox.
I'm back. What were you
Oh,
saying?
well, there we go.
What were you
What?
talking about? I
I
heard
was
your
filling in the
voice.
dead air by movies I had watched recently.
Oh,
It's like
okay. um,
Twisters.
it's just as good. I actually was considering watching that too.
It was fun. It was fun.
Okay, I might
I saw
go
it
and
in
see that.
40x, and I ended up thrown into the next theater by the
By the
shaking
Twister?
seats. By
Oh,
the,
okay.
you ever do anything in 40x?
No, I've never done it.
It's
Actually,
the
wait, no, that's
best.
not true. That's not true. I think at Legoland, I have.
Ooh.
Um,
Well, it's like a theater format. Like you can go to a theater and they have like hydraulic seats and water and air and all the other elements from Avatar. And you just watch a movie while all that's happening, and it's kind of incredible. It's definitely
yeah,
like
then
a
I
bit
haven't.
much, like because people will be talking and then you're like shaking violently, but depends on the movie.
Let me just quickly get footage of the next game that I'm actually been talking about because I've been playing for a bit. Where is it?
Damn, Phantom Gamer over here.
Oh, I've been doing some gaming as usual.
Some real Phantom gaming.
Gaming as usual. All right. So next game I've been playing has been Zenless Zone Zero, that new MiHoYo game. That is like a urban, basically urban anime gacha game. Action, my bad, action gacha game. That with,
Oh, I've
with like
seen Twitter
kind of
talking
roguelike
about
elements.
this, and I
Yeah,
have no idea what the hell it is.
it is really. It is
If
fun.
you,
It is
if you
fun. That's the problem. When you
if
get
you
to
think I'm going to play a game on my fucking telephone, get real.
well, it's on
No.
PS5 and
Oh,
PC.
perfect. There you go.
Yeah. So you don't even need to play it on your phone. My phone doesn't even have enough
deck
space.
compatible? Do
Is it
you
what
know?
compatible?
Is it deck compatible? Do you know?
I have no idea because it is not even on Steam.
Oh,
It's on Epic and through Hoyo's own installer, which you don't even really need to
interesting.
download the installer. You can just download the game and play it. I have the installer on my laptop, but I have the game on an external hard drive. So when I connected it to my computer and my PC and just didn't have the installer, it just launched the game right away. I was like, okay, easy. But yeah, it's the game is really fun, and that's kind of the problem that I have with it is that the action part of the game is really fun. There is so much talking, and there's so much dialogue, and tutorials within the early game that it makes it such a slog to get through. Like I was waiting for the point where it's like, hey, are you gonna teach me how to like pull for characters? And I'm still not even at that. I just went ahead and did it myself because it's like you can just go ahead and do it. You don't need it. My friend was like, you don't need a tutorial to do that. But it's like usually every gacha game that I've ever played gives you a tutorial for that, and like you get your special pull or whatever. This game doesn't. At least either I haven't gotten up to it, or it just doesn't have that. And also because it's weird because it's a story based game, so. Like the base characters that you get is like this one unit called, I think it's called like the Cunning Hares or something like that. And in like the first chapter, there is a character that joins the Cunning Hares. So you would think, oh, do I get this character now? Because within the story, she is now part of the team. No, you don't get it. You just have to pull for her. And it's just like, okay, well, why? Why would you do that? Why would you add her to the team just to not give me? Why would you give me her in the story? But this game is so story focused that it's like, okay, actually you don't have her. You still need to pull for her. So it's like you don't even have her at all. Like you can do trial mode in a sense where it's like, hey, you're playing the character that is part of the story. But it's kind of like I would like to just be able to customize my own characters with said character that you clearly are stating that I have, but now I don't have.
I feel like I was talking to some people recently where I was like, I feel like a big issue with a lot of modern games is that like they really do like front load so much stuff, and it does feel kind of like a little disrespectful of your time, because at some point you're like, is there really no other way they could have organically like taught me any of these things in the game without like having to sit through, like round after round of just like, oh, here's this new mechanic.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's it's annoying as well because there are incentives in the game, like because the game just came out like on the 4th of July, literally came out the 4th of
Yeah.
July. And so you have like all these add-on things that you can do. It's like, hey, if you get to this level, you can you get these bonus items that help you like pull for characters or just other things in general. And if I'm being so front loaded with tutorial stuff or like story where I'm not playing the game, it's kind of like, oh, I don't want to. I kind of want to get past this stuff, but clearly this stuff is important because that's what most of the game is about. So it's like if I'm skipping something, I'm missing out on a lot. Which granted, if you skip cutscenes, it gives you a summary of what the cutscene was about before you skipped it, which is like, okay, great. I kind of don't feel that bad about skipping it now. But at the same time, there are some pretty cool cutscenes as well in this game. Like the animation is really cool. So I kind of don't. And it's not just like, oh, characters standing and talking to one another. They also like created comic panels as well with really good art. So there's a lot of artwork in general that just went into this game that it's like they want you to experience it, and I get it. What they want me to experience looks really cool, but I also want to play the game. And you get like maybe 3 hours of characters talking plus some tutorials for every like 3 matches of combat. The balance of it is not good, I would say.
Yeah,
It's really not good. And because once you already like complete, and they have like other things as well. It's like, hey, you can do like these quests, these trial quests or whatever. Where it's like, hey, you just get constant items for it, and you get EXP for it. That's cool. I don't want to be constantly playing those exact same missions over and over again just to like get EXP or just to be playing the part of the game that I care for playing. I want to actually progress through the game and see what it is that they're trying to build towards, because the interactions between the characters are really cool and all that jazz. But I don't want to have to constantly go through all the story and stuff like that. It's just really annoying. And that was a lot of complaints that I heard from other people as well too. Like I was listening to Japan Time podcast, featuring a friend of us, Rogers Base, and other people like Shofu and stuff like that. And they were kind of saying the same thing. Like, there's a lot of talking in this game. But I also have some friends that completely completed what all the content that's in the game right now. So then they're just waiting for updates and just doing pulls. So it's like I'm kind of not on either of those sides where it's like I'm sinking a whole lot of time into this game because I know I got work to do. I got a job to do. And I don't have it on my phone, so I can't. It's not like I can do it like casually as well either. I kind of have to like be sitting at my laptop playing the game. So it's just like I'll play for like maybe an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then I'll kind of forget the game for a few days. It's like, oh snap, wait, I got to do my dailies, and then I won't do my dailies because I was like, I kind of don't want to play the game though. Even though I like the game.
Yeah, I really wish like daily things in games were more of just like oh, isn't that fun if you log on every day there's a thing, but instead like it's now part of the grind too. Like part of the basic grind is, no, you must boot up the game, you must play this game.
There are a lot of things that you get just for signing in. Like, hey, you can get like you get some EXP, you get like more of the currency to be able to summon characters and all that stuff, and just like to make your character stronger and all that stuff. You get a lot just for playing for one day. But of course, the game isn't looking for you to just do that stuff. The game is looking for you to do everything else too, and all that stuff combined, it just feels like too much. And it's kind of the reason why it's a shame, because this is like the one gacha game where I really was waiting for. I was waiting, like I'm excited to play this game for like 2 years since it was announced, or maybe even longer, or something like that. And I was hoping that this would be like the gacha game to like kind of break the curse of me playing a game and immediately forgetting about it, and it has not. I have gone back to the case of like, because any other gacha game that I've played, or any mobile game that I've played really as well too, I play it for a day, maybe two, or maybe a week Pokemon Go was like a week, or maybe actually no, Pokemon Go was like way longer, like a month maybe. But then I immediately I
Mm.
dropped it afterwards. I forgot that I had it. And it's not like, and I'm not the type of person to spend money on these games either because they're free games. I have no incentive to do that. So, uh, it's kind of like, oh, I'm in. I'm really in. But that high to low is really like a roller coaster for me. It's like, oh, I am at this high and I'm really enjoying this, and then immediately within like a few days, it's like, okay, I'm out. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, have I been playing anything else? I don't think so. I was playing Live Alive for a little bit, the remake.
That's hell yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. I haven't finished
It's
it,
so
but
cool.
I did what the not kung fu, the martial arts kind of like tournament one. I did that
Yeah.
story in like one sitting. It was really fun.
Yeah,
And
all
now
I
I'm
mean they're all like not that long. I think there's only like a couple of those stories that hit like 2 hours ish at the most.
I'm doing the RPG one, like the future, the one I set in the future.
Yeah.
That is the one that I was like doing the last time I played, and yeah, I'm liking it so far. The music is really nice. The gameplay is pretty good. It's I was actually surprised at how short that first story was. I was like, oh, is every story gonna be this short? And then I was like, that's pretty kind of nice to just be playing like a game that clearly has like a lot of quality put into it, but is also not that long.
Yeah.
It felt
I
nice.
mean
It
once
didn't
you've
feel that
played
long at least.
well, I mean once you've played every single like thing, then it's like that is still like a whole ass game.
Is it after you complete like every story individually, do they interconnect or something or no?
Yeah.
Oh, they do.
Uh I don't want to
You don't want to
I
spoil.
I don't want to spoil a SNES game, but also like you'll see.
Okay, all right. Anything mentioned Virtual Shark, Tekken 8,
Uh
Live Alive. Is there anything else I've been playing?
I was playing some GoldenEye mods. There's a GoldenEye
Ooh.
mod called Veteran Eye that just makes the game harder.
Mm-hmm.
And like that doesn't sound like a good idea because it sounds like Kaizo shit on the outside looking in, but no, they're like slight tweaks to all the levels. It's like almost a remaster, like they modify the levels in really minor ways to both make them a little trickier to traverse, but also a little more like linear, so they're not as like you basically like because they've already made everything else harder, like they don't want you to get lost. But they also
Right.
like lock a bunch of doors that would make, usually snooping around some of these levels a little easier. And then like there's more enemies in the levels, they have tougher guns and everything. They basically designed it as if it was like a fourth difficulty mode for GoldenEye as opposed to like a remaster or something. And it's a lot of fun. It's really like I really hate that there's only like 6 games that play like GoldenEye, and like 3 of them are Medal of Honor and 2 of them are Perfect Dark.
And then
And
the other one is
so I
GoldenEye.
love that little like reticle aiming system. That's like it's so good. It
Mm-hmm.
feels really good to use in a shooter, and uh I can't get enough of it in these GoldenEye mods. Plus
I've been
GoldenEye just feels so great. What a perfect video game.
I've been considering joining the extra family that we have, so I can get the expansion pack. So maybe I could be able to play with you guys for like
Hell
GoldenEye and
yeah.
stuff like that. Mario Party too.
Yeah, you can play all the weird fucked up emulated versions
Yeah.
of
And also just
Mario Party
play
2.
N64 games because the most I've played of any N64 game ever is a few minutes of Mario 64, and
Dang.
I've never played an N64 game to be completely honest.
It's a great
That's a
library.
whole library I've missed.
There was like a whole Twitter moment where like a week ago where there was like some guy did like a whole thread shitting on Mario 64, and
What the
then someone quote retweeted it with it was like this is like in response to people over praising the Nintendo 64. And I'm like, that's just like we gotta really reevaluate how we engage with like video game history. Like, what are we talking about? Overpraised, overrated. This shit is old. Like, it's in the past. Like, we learn from it. We experience it and we understand the context of which it exists and what like what who the fuck is overpraising the N64 in 2024? How is that an issue?
I mean, well,
I don't get it.
so
I know there's like a
Give me-
bigger, there's like a maybe a bigger discussion to be had about like
People who have preferences for certain platforms doing like history revisionism, but like if you just want to read video game history, all that shit is well documented and you can just go look it up anyway. Like,
so
weirdos are gonna be weirdos. Like, don't.
give me a second real quick so I can go measure.
Okay. Man, I love GoldenEye. Perfect Dark's even better. Anyone in chat hear about that shit with Intel? What is going on there? There's a I guess I'll have to partially re-explain it when Phantom comes back, but basically like the really high-end 13th and 14th gen Intel chips are just like drawing too much power from motherboards and they're causing themselves to crash. And then there's also like a potential oxidation issue. Like oxidation was introduced into some of these chips. And so like it's like a hardware issue. And Intel's like releasing like code fixes like through BIOS updates, but Gamers Nexus has made some really great videos covering it. I would
Oh, my
just
bad.
go, hey, have you heard about like the Intel shit? I was
No.
just explaining that briefly. There's like basically like some really high-end current and last generation Intel chips are like crashing, and it seems like it's like a hardware issue that can't be like patched.
Oh,
Yeah, it's not
so
good.
are they gonna do like a recall or something? Or-
No one knows because it seems like this affects like it's like every I'll post the Verge article in Stream Channel, but basically it's like all high-end Intel last gen and current gen chips, at least seemingly starting from like mid 2023 onward, because they're saying there was an incident at a factory that might have like introduced issues into the supply chain that have like kind of like poisoned the rest of the batch.
Yeah. So are they gonna like? Intel has now halted sales or clawed back any inventory. Will not do a recall. Period. Company is not currently commenting on whether or how it might extend its warranty. It would not share estimates with The Verge of how many chips are likely to be irreversibly impacted, and it did not explain why it's continuing to sell these chips ahead of it. Intel is not telling us how warranty replacements will work beyond trying customer support again if you've previously been rejected. It did not explain how it will contact customers with these chips to warn them about this issue. But Intel does tell us it's confident that you don't need to worry about invisible degradation. If you're not
It's
currently
so
experiencing
fucked.
issues, the patch will be an effective preventative solution for processors already in service. If you don't know if you're experiencing issues, Intel currently suggests a Robitech test. And perhaps for the first time, Intel has confirmed just how broad this issue could possibly be. The elevated voltages could potentially affect any 13th or 14th gen desktop processor that consumes 65 watts or more power, not just the highest i9 series chips that initially. Wow. Goddamn. Because I just read that. Here is the Verge article in question. So, source where we're getting this information from.
Nice.
That's.
I think I'm
That
in the
seems really
clear. I have
bad.
a 13700K in my machine, but I bought it in October 2022. So I think that's like before all this shit hit the fan. And it also seems like it's a lot of the super high end stuff, but now they're saying it's all of like the enthusiast, like over unlocked, overclockable chips. So I
Uh,
don't know.
so it shouldn't be
It's
hitting like normal people, I guess, right?
it should, if you have like an i5, like you're probably fine. And that's like most people, but if you're a hardcore gamer, you may be switching to AMD.
About the overhyped thing. Um, so I think there's some instances where we can say like a game definitely is being overhyped. Like for instance, my memory of a game being overhyped was Sonic CD, where people would say that this is the best Sonic game ever. And this was at a point where, of course, we were past Sonic Unleashed, I believe, or at least it was around the time that Sonic Unleashed, just after it came out, and I think before Colors, maybe, or right around Colors. And people were saying Sonic CD is the best Sonic game, and then I played it myself, and I was like, "Whoa, wait, actually, no, this is not true. This game is actually it's not bad, but it clearly has issues that kind of impede with the enjoyability of the game at later levels. But yeah, soundtrack is absolutely amazing, amazing soundtrack. But the game itself has some problems that definitely make it not the best Sonic game ever. And
I
feel
don't
like
know
in
if I
certain cases, like
necessarily agree with that example because it's still just all opinions, and that
it
doesn't like I don't
it
like
is.
you can still have problems with something, and it doesn't like negate that other people don't feel that way,
I think
or even a grander amount of people feel that way.
I agree that actually hold on. So I think it can be the case that a game still has flaws and then still is like the best game ever made. Because I think that with David X Machina. So I absolutely understand that a game can have issues and still be incredibly great. Because there's people that so like we can have games like I guess we just continue going back to like the Sonic fandom. So for instance, like Sonic Frontiers, I think is one of the best Sonic games ever. Like, I really do think I do genuinely think that Sonic Frontiers is one of the best games, Sonic games we've ever had. Um, it does have issues, absolutely, but those issues don't impede the amount of enjoyment and I have. But I would never say that Sonic Frontiers is overhyped because I kind of unanimously see a mixture of of praise of opinions of praise and dissent. Whereas, let's say for a game of like Mario 64 or something more recent, Breath of the Wild, I see more praise for those games. And I'm not just talking about Metacritic score. I'm talking about the conversations that people have about these games is mostly of praise. Whereas I necessarily wouldn't call that overhyped in my perspective, because in the case of Breath of the Wild, I feel like the praise that it gets is rightly deserved. But if you are a person that happens to not like the game and you see like a lot of problems, yeah, it is an opinion thing, but from your perspective, it is going to be overhyped because the problems that somebody else might see but not necessarily care about, those are going to be problems that you see and then you absolutely care about. Like an example that I have like that with, especially, is with Undertale, because I understand that people are like, hey, the perspective of the game is that you are doing these actions where you're kind of being criticized for aiming to do every single thing that is part of a game. You shouldn't be doing the genocide route. But realistically, you put that in a game for people to experience it. You don't put that in a game for somebody to not experience that. And granted, I understand the idea of, well, the experience that you're going to have with this is a bad experience, but also at the same time, this is a video game as well. And I can understand, hey, there's a lesson that I want to teach you within this game, but making the thing that you clearly wanted people to experience within this video game as a slog, or even if it's not a slog, but also like the kind of, I think kind of the lesson that is trying to be taught from it it won't always hit. And for me especially, it doesn't hit because I'm going to still view the fact that, well, you're the person that you want me to interact with this art in a certain way, and I get the framing that you're wanting to create. You're trying to create it as like the player, but also as the creator, you also made this thing to be experienced. So you made this world that is you made this world and the actions that a person could do to be this bad thing. So would you not necessarily also be just as bad as the player for doing that? And I feel like a lot of people don't focus on that, or don't even think of that. Whereas for me, that is kind of like a glaring issue that I see with Genocide Route. But I would never say Undertale is overhyped though, because I still feel like it absolutely deserves the praise that it gets in every other aspect.
I'm just saying, I think the term is just like kind of petty, and it's usually used. It's usually used a lot in the same way people throw the word pretentious, where people are more using it as this is like beyond me, or like,
Right,
instead of just being like, this is not for me, or like, I simply do not feel this way, people will just be like, oh, it's so full of itself, or whatever. We see that always with like the Game Awards. Everyone's always like, here comes the industry, like the crowning achievement, the cinematic game, and it's like Alan Wake 2, and it's like, guys, it's like games. But I'm just also talking about like even just the idea of like, yeah, like the notion of just like, I don't know, like, oh, I must tear something down uh because this is in response to people liking like too many people liking a thing too much. It's a little silly, especially when it's something like a piece of hardware. like like that should be like irrelevant to the conversation by now, because it's like all of that is like actual history. It'd be like if people nowadays were like, Technicolor was so overrated. Like, it's just an old film treatment, like, what do you want? Like, I don't
I
know.
get it.
Everyone should just play video games and then talk about video games and then talk about how they feel about video games, and then uh discussions.
I do. There was a post about a screenshot of a YouTube video about the PlayStation 2. I think you probably have seen it. Whereas like the context of that video, which I haven't watched, is basically that this person wasn't around at the time of the PS2. Like they weren't born yet, or either they were just born, so like they couldn't be able to experience the PS2. So they went back and played, PS2 games.
Yeah.
And some of the quote tweets that I was seeing about, that were talking about that video were the fact of, you're playing the classics or games regarded as classics now, like beloved classics on the PS2, is not the real experience of the PS2, because you kind of will never get that after the fact. Living in the midst of the PS2 is kind of really experiencing the PS2, because you don't you as a person now playing after the fact, you don't have to wait for those good games to come out, or you don't have to wait for any games for the PS2 to come out. Those games are already out now. You can play whichever ones. But now we have so many reviews, criticisms, videos of appraise of the games that are on PS2, that now it's already that if you're gonna go play the PS2, you already know which games to get, because they're highly praised, or if they're of a series that you're experiencing that is still going to this day, and you play the more recent games. And
I mean, a lot of it's kind of like the old film school problem of like people who watch a lot of blockbusters go into film school and then they're told like, "Oh, you guys should be watching like The Godfather and Citizen Kane," and then they go home and watch them, and because they're so completely different to anything else they've watched, not to even like put down the person in this hypothetical scenario, but if you do one thing long enough and then you're like immediately told like this completely different thing is actually the best thing ever, like something about your brain chemistry is going to like be weird with like engaging that thing. And I think that is kind of, I think that is like I think like top like albums of all time and top games of all time lists are like mostly harmless. People get really fucking up in arms about placement and everything, but like those are like those lists and everything are like not made for people who are like gamers or like regular music listeners. It's for people who like are total fucking outsiders to the medium basically. Um but yeah, like the actual it's really always going to be an availability and an engagement issue. It's always going to come down to the fact that a lot of older games are just plainly not available on storefronts, or at least like just readily available, and you can't just like pick up a random thing and play it. Like one of the best things about music streaming is that, you can go read a list of the best rock albums of all time, and then you can go listen to all the big hits. You can like just all the 100% on Rate Your Music or whatever.
Right.
But the streaming services are also going to probably throw in recommendations for lesser known things that are like there's a system to engage, well, at least maybe on like Tidal and Apple Music. The Spotify sucks, but like, you know what I mean? Like there are systems in place to always be constantly finding new things. And that is
Yeah.
because, as we do in the current moment, we're always looking at the next thing to play. We're not like, I think there's like every like gaming has like a weird thing where everyone wants to be a critic, and I think it's because games are so expensive and so fucking long and also so like technical. But like, uh, people talk about games like every game needs to be the best game of all time, and not that they are just a normal person picking up a video game, and that like their expectations should be at zero, and then they should think about how they feel later when they're done or something. Like, I don't know. I feel
Mm.
like it's just like, if you play an old video game, you should just like, you should not like, even if it's like people have heralded it as like the best game of all time, simply just do not think about that. Just don't engage with it like that. Come at it from your own perspective, on your own terms, and don't worry about what other people think, because that's not a criticism of the thing. That's just like people and culture.
Definitely, I absolutely agree with that. Well, I do think, at least for me, I know personally that still engaging with the medium in general still be difficult because
Yeah.
of things like not just time, but also the the cause and effect or personal timeline that you go about interacting with a thing can absolutely shape your perspective of said media as well.
Yeah.
So if you end up playing like Dragon Guard 3 first before Dragon Guard 1, your perspective of Dragon Guard 1 can be completely different in comparison if you just play Dragon Guard 1 first.
I mean, it's a
Um
conversation people have with like the Yakuza, where it's like people will
right.
just play Zero first before like anything else, and it's like, whoa.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
And to go back to the PS2 thing, it's like if you were living at that time, or like yeah, if you were living at that time, because you also have to take in just like the financial aspect of it as well. Some of the games that you're playing right now, you probably wouldn't be buying because be buying a cheaper game or like a game that was pre-owned. So, or you may be getting games that were hand me downs from like other family members. Like for me, yeah, I had a lot of memories of like playing Naruto Ultimate Ninja on my PS2 or Dragon Ball Z games on my PS2. Also, a lot of memories playing MVP Baseball 2004, and that's the only baseball game that I own and will ever own, and also will ever play because I really like that game. And also, it was just there. It was part of my
Yeah.
experience growing up with a PS2 and having some hand me down games from my uncles that had PS2. It's after the fact you're not going to have the same experience as someone. You're not going to have the complete same experience because, like, you know, if you go back and if you're playing the same game as other people that have had the PS2, like, yeah, you'll get some of that. You'll get some of that experience. You won't get the nostalgia that came with it, but or like the perspective within that specific moment in time that other person had. But just a game experience, yeah, you probably will have like similar game experiences that you can then converse about. Not that you can't converse about those differences as well, but it's just the relativity between the two people would be just so vastly different. And where it's like, if you're going back, should you try the games that were kind of ass on the PS2? Well,
yeah, but they're not like objectively ass. You can they're not go play them and then make your own opinion.
They don't have to be objectively ass, but some games are like less enjoyable than others. Like
like one of the worst things in gaming is whenever a game has the narrative that it's terrible, and it's like you can't even talk about it. You know what game turned 5 years old the other day? Wolfenstein Youngblood, a game that I like perfectly fine, and yet it is like fucking reviled, and it's like I can't even hold a conversation with anyone about it because if I ask why, everyone is just like, because it sucks. It's like, okay. It's like, because everyone says it sucks, and it's like, okay.
That's how I feel sometimes about Stranger of Paradise, where it's like I didn't understand. People are like, I didn't understand how to play the game. The game doesn't teach you how to do this combat mechanic. And it's like, yes, literally it does. It also, besides that, you know, I get that there's certain things that you don't prefer as a fan of Final Fantasy, which is absolutely fair because Final Fantasy is an assortment of things, and not each Final Fantasy appeals to everybody. Me as a person who's never played Final Fantasy other than Stranger of Paradise and now Final Fantasy 1, the perspective is going to be completely different as well. Yeah. So it's like I want to say that there are some games that are just less fun than others. That is also just like a personal experience as well. Because like, is it Sochi Winter Olympics 2004 or something on PS2? I tried that game. I really didn't like it because I didn't understand how to play it. But a person that probably did understand how to play it probably really liked that game. So it's like, and it can also just be of the time thing too. It's like, oh, another Street Fighter. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of tired of it. But a person that's coming in to Street Fighter for the first time and is picking up a Championship Edition or Super Turbo, that's playing it now for the first time, it's like, oh wow, I really like this version of Street Fighter. Like their perspectives can be so vastly different. And yeah, I do feel like there are some games that I definitely would never suggest to a person to play if I wanted them to have a good time. But there are people that exist that did have a good time with that game. So there really is kind of the only game that you're ever going to have an experience with where it's like, hey, yeah, you probably shouldn't play that game because it actually is bad, is if a game like literally doesn't work. Like as it was a product that was released that was unfinished and it completely just didn't work at all. Like it can't function. And you know, an easy example to go to would be Sonic 06. But no, there's people that like Sonic 06. So it's even then, it's like it's really hard to parse that out. It's not something that you can just easily do.
I think the point is that people should just like not make sweeping generalizations on what other people are going to think.
Right.
Gaming, Fortnite.
So we have been going on for a while, and we're at an hour and 30 minutes in, and we haven't really gotten to like as much as the topic was about some Marvel stuff, and also EVO happened. We mostly got to the Marvel stuff. We
didn't talk about the SDCC Marvel shit.
Yeah, we didn't talk about that yet. I guess.
Do you want to?
We can talk about that really quick.
Do you want to talk about that?
Because if anything, I kind of want to talk more about Emio.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I do want to talk about
Remember
Emio
that?
more.
Yeah. Who is that? Did we ever find
let's just talk about SDCC really quick.
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr.'s back.
Yeah.
That's kind of like the really important thing. of that.
What?
Yeah. As somebody who is not a, once again, I'm really into Spider-Man and Iron Man. That's it. So, hearing Robert Downey Jr. is going to come back to play as Doom, and I like Robert Downey Jr. as an actor, I am immediately sold on that. I do not necessarily care for like any of the multiverse or timeline stuff like other people are caring about, because I'm not really that big into Marvel films. I don't really watch most of them. But just seeing Robert Downey Jr. is back, I get to see him be a character again. And also with the now, I already know that because it's going to be interaction with other characters that, know what Robert Downey Jr. know what in universe Tony Stark looks like, and be like, hey, you look like Tony Stark. What the hell's up with that? That's immediately gonna be interesting to me. So I'm completely down for it. That's immediately like, oh yeah, okay. This is,
I mean,
I'm up for it.
not not to be overly, not to hate fun, but I don't know. It just feels like Robert Downey Jr. is a good actor. I don't really see him. I think just first and foremost, I just don't see him as Doom.
I
And then like that's just like, I think casting him again is just like a little silly. It's just like a little silly.
because I see him as Tony Stark, I agree. Whereas like I can't see him being Doom. Like the face kind of just goes with the character now as well, kind of like when a person's voice goes with that character as well. But I'm kind of like, oh, that the idea of it is so interesting that it's like, okay, I'm down for it. Even though like I also kind of have the cynical opinion where it's like, yeah, Jonathan Majors really fucked up probably whatever plans was going on for the MCU, so they're leaning on this, and it's like, okay, I get
Chadwick, why did you have to go? I saw a post that was like, if he didn't have cancer, we'd be on like Black Panther 3 by now. And it's like, that's so true.
Yeah,
Like,
that probably is true.
they wouldn't have to roll out Spider-Man with like 7 other people from other movies. Like, they would...
Yeah, certain things that just, you can't see coming. Can't see
Yeah.
coming. Just completely
So
just,
tragic.
it's just the way of it.
Such a sadness.
It still doesn't necessarily feel. It might not necessarily that. I just be saying that shit. It doesn't feel real. Kind of that happened. It's like, oh yeah, that did happen, and it just so abruptly. It's kind of like with Kobe Bryant's death as well, where something just happened. It's like, are you serious? Really? That happened? Like, without any type of caution or anything like that, it just happens, and now that person's gone. Okay, that feels really weird, and then you have to move forward from that, and it's like, oh, in this case, how do you move forward from that? You gotta pull some strings in ways that may not necessarily be what you want to do, but it's kind of like what needs to be done at that point, or in a sense. Really weird. But Emio, so yeah, that's it for Marvel.
Yeah, that's all that
really mattered.
SDCC. That's all they talked about.
They talked about Fantastic Four and I think the Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts.
Yeah.
I'll say, you know what? I'm gonna say this about the Thunderbolts. I don't know what that is. But I'm gonna go. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I might eventually check it out, because I feel like as of late I really enjoy really weird, obscure comic shit, as opposed to like the
mainstream.
Yeah, the same heroes everyone's seen a billion times already.
That's
but
fair.
I don't know. As of right now, I don't want to see another superhero movie again for a while. I need to watch some like Italian horror or something. But yeah, Emio. Oh my god. Speaking of murder.
Oh.
Speaking
of
mystery, yeah. Because of Italian horror.
Oh, right. Okay.
There's something kind of giallo-y about the Famicom Detective Club games, because they're detective games, I guess. But yeah, Nan said I called it. I don't want to take credit for calling it. That's like.
But did you call it?
I said so they had the teaser out, and I just want to say this. There are people who thought Nintendo was going to be doing like a Resident Evil, and the argument was that the teaser had a realistic art style. It was a dude on a green screen, guys. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, as I said in that video, my initial reaction was live action. Is this like everybody 1-2 switch but horror? But they wouldn't make it an M-rated game.
Right.
I kind of figured it would be like a visual novel. I just wouldn't know if I didn't know if they'd actually call it like Switch Detective Club or something. But no, it's straight up a new Famicom Detective Club, and it
And for
comes
what,
out
20
in a
years?
month.
30 years? How long has it been?
Yeah, like 35 years.
Okay.
There's at least since the there's like the Satellaview game they're kind of ignoring, but that's, you know, that's neither here nor there. But it would have been cool if they did an FMV game. That was like, yeah, I saw some people say there's like the Tex Murphy. That's going back a bit. There's like a Japanese FMV game that I think more some people who are watching this they're going to be more familiar with that I'm just like blanking on.
Is
But
it the
yeah, if it
Square
was
Enix
like
one? So,
yeah,
oh,
Or it's like real live action
I
video.
don't remember the name of the game, but I do know it's like, the guy's wearing a hat, and then like the central color of the game is
Yeah.
like yellow. I don't
Yep.
don't
Yep.
remember.
You got it.
I don't remember the name of the game though.
Yeah.
The title.
Sorry, I'm a bad
Or
gamer.
blanking on it.
But a new Centennial case.
apparently. But yeah, new
Uh,
Famicom Detective Club game. Holy shit. Like I don't this is like the announcement of the year for me.
I can imagine.
I'm so stoked for this. I like Nan's actually gonna have me do reviews of Famicom Detective Club 1 and 2, the remake, so look out for that in the near future. Um so that'll be fun. I like those games a lot. They're old. They're very basic and simple, but you know, there's not really much like them, and they have a very cool specific vibe to them. And they're also just so un-Nintendo. You just don't like you don't see them make visual novels or like, you know, these sort of point and click adventure games, and
Right.
especially ones with serious subject matter. And now we have a new one that's M-rated, which is just like fucking crazy to me. And they're calling it Famicom
Suicide.
Detective Club on the Switch. Like that's nuts. Like
Yeah.
that's crazy.
I do really appreciate that. Like one of the constant things that you see people talk about, Nintendo fans talk about, my bad. Nintendo fans talk about, like, hey, use your old IPs. And this is an instance where like they're utilizing old IPs. It's like, oh wow, that's, to me, that's like, I am very shocked that this is happening, and I'm absolutely down for it. Even though I didn't play the first two Detective Famicom, it's like, okay, now I really want to play those games even more. I have to buy them. They never got a physical, did they? Not, at least not in America.
No,
Damn.
not overseas. And I believe the Japanese physical is Japanese only. So
Damn.
if you import, you're just kind of SOL.
Damn.
But
But I would like to play these games, and the fact that they're doing a new one 30 years later, and also, hey, here's some serious subject matter about it too, like potentially abuse and suicide and stuff like that. It's like, okay, I am very curious to try this out. Like everything about it seems very strange, but the right kind of strange. It's like, oh, it's intriguing is the right word. Everything about it's intriguing.
the only
And
thing that has me possibly worried and also intrigued is I mean, first off, Sakamoto's back. That's great. You know, that's the other thing too. Like the reason sometimes old franchises don't get new games made is simply because no one wants to make them.
so
Like
you need a person that cares.
they've already done and said everything they've said. They don't need to keep pumping these things out. You can just go keep playing the old ones, and you can appreciate them more. Haha. But
yeah, with this, it's like Sakamoto's back. He's got ideas that he's had since the original, and he's like, the ending's gonna be controversial to some people, and it's like, whoa. He's like, I can't wait to hear whatever. He's like, as the video is, I'm looking at it right now. It's like, can't wait to hear what everyone has to say, and it's like, what are they cooking? You know, like, what are they cooking that they had to release it in this fashion? It seems like it is getting a physical too, which is kind of
In America,
cool.
yeah, it is getting a physical over here, which is really nice to
Um,
see.
oh my god, I don't want to see anything more about this game. Like, I don't, like the trailer literally just being like him talking about
Talking
the
about the
game
game,
and then
yeah.
just showing like 3 glimpses of how it looks, which is just exactly like the Famicom Detective Club remakes, is like, good, leave it at that. I'm on board. I'm stoked. I'm happy.
I do wonder how many like trailers they'll think about putting out, because it literally does come out in a month. So
They'll
it's
probably
like,
just put out like a launch trailer, and
uh,
that's
maybe like an overview trailer, and then here, okay, game's
maybe
out, launch trailer,
some
and that's it.
character breakdowns.
Oh, that too, yeah.
They'll tell you about the Famicom Detective Crew.
I'm really interested. I do hope a lot of people go out and purchase it. Um, I know that won't necessarily be the case, because it is pretty quick turnaround for reveal to launch, and then also people always need to bitch and moan about a game with an anime style.
Well, they said Famicom
Anime art
Detective
style.
Club, the remakes were like the best-selling mages games of all time.
Like better than their own stuff, really.
Yeah, and
Okay, yeah.
so the expectations for this, I assume, are a bit higher. But also, like, I mean, does Sakamoto have plans for a fourth? You know, like, is this a franchise they intend on dragging out? Like,
If this one does well, maybe he'd be like, I want to keep going. Yeah, we'll do that. Like, let's keep tapping
yeah,
into
I don't know.
horror.
I feel like that's like right now the thing that does have me so excited is the fact that it is like Sakamoto's back and he has ideas, and they that's like the whole advertising is just focused on, he's like, I'm making the best Famicom Detective Club game. It's like that rules. That's also, again, just so like, I mean, this is like something Nintendo would have done. This is like a Wii U Direct segment trailer
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
gosh, yeah.
But that's the thing.
And
They
people
just they
talking
just
around with
dropped
the
it as
game
like a trailer on
trailer.
Twitter. Wow, that's so exciting. I'm seriously excited
I
to
can't
talk
wait.
about it and play it, and
Do we know the price of it? It's like, is it gonna
it's
be
like
for fifty
$50.
dollars? Yeah, okay,
I think it's just 50.
that's good.
It's probably gonna be like a solid 10-hour. I can't wait. Oh my god, I can't wait.
And then, so
And then what?
we are about to hit a 2 hour mark, and
Yeah.
I feel like, while I do have something I could say about Evo, because it was amazing. This Evo was absolutely spectacular.
That's what I've
Um,
heard.
it it was it was fun. It wasn't just like the announcements were great, because there were really great announcements. Like SVC Chaos getting like shadow dropped, or like just out of nowhere, announced and shadow dropped. Guilty Gear Strive Season 4 and things of that nature. Is like you getting guest character Cyberpunk Edgerunners Lucy and Guilty Gear. That's really cool. Terry getting to see some Terry footage in Street Fighter 6. What else, like Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising character trailers. All of that stuff was really cool. But the actual event this time was just so fun, especially the Third Strike tournament. That was probably my highlight. Where you have Hugo player Hayao uh being flexible on stage, like sitting down on the floor, legs completely spread, butt to the camera, playing Third Strike, leaping into the air when he wins, and then getting like one of the craziest, having like essentially what felt like a new EVO moment. When it was like Hugo versus Ken, incredibly fun. If you had not watched it live, you still need to watch. I feel like that's a trailer that you still need to watch. I mean, an event that you still need to watch because it was just so fun. You could really feel how much fun people were having. Not just being there watching it, but the players as well. I didn't watch too much Street Fighter 6 because I had to go. It was running late, so I had to go to sleep. Guilty Gear Strive was really fun as a tournament. You had a Jacko winning, so that was like really surprising. There was Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising was really good as a tournament as well. You also had like parts of it that are like it's hard to talk about it because of things with a particular player that were going on, but the kind of like the way that everybody was rooting against them in a way, like you don't like nobody's saying it outright directly, but you kind of can tell that there is a view against that particular player that is had, and then everybody cheering for everybody else is like, ooh, yeah, you can feel it, but at the same time it is pretty much deserved for what they were, what was discovered. What else was there? Tekken 8. I missed Tekken 8 too, but the actual exhibition matches that they were doing before the actual top 6, where you had Twitch streamer Lily Pichu versus Harada, and Lily Pichu beat his ass, was incredibly funny.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was really funny. Like to just see Harada get his ass beat. It was, oh gosh, it was just a really good event at this time around. Just really fun. The SNK had a lot to show. They're doing.
Oh yeah, didn't they announce Sam Show ARPG? Is that correct? And
that was
a new Art of Fighting game.
Yeah, that was actually
what
announced
the hell?
a year ago. They announced it a year ago, but of course, like that was at like a smaller event, I think. But yeah, they just reconfirmed that we're working on an action RPG Samurai Showdown, and we're working on a new Art of Fighting. And it's like, whoa, okay, that's cool. And they're hiring actively for it too. So it's like, all right, that's nice. Can't wait to see how that turns out. I know if the way that City of the Wolves is looking too, like the knowledge that they're getting from that in regards to like art style and stuff like that, I can't wait to see how those games end up looking.
What's their like Street Fighter clone? World Heroes? They need to make a new World Heroes. There's just like
I've never even heard of World Heroes. I thought Art of Fighting was like their response to Street Fighter.
No, World Heroes.
Ah, okay.
Probably both. I mean, all those.
Yeah.
Not to be like Street Fighter clones, but like those
there's
early
clearly
90
answers,
fighters were going for a vibe.
Right. Were you looking to do what this thing is doing?
Yeah. Mortal Kombat also. Speaking of 90s fighters, Mortal Kombat announced more characters.
Yeah, Chaos Reigns, Mortal Kombat expansion with Noob Saibot, these 2 mecha ninjas, Ghostface, Conan the Barbarian, and that metal cop. I don't know who that character is.
So oh my god, Jesus Christ, Phantom. You haven't seen Terminator 2?
No, I've never seen any of the Terminator movies. I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
I'm changing that soon. It's gonna be my job. We're gonna fix that soon. Good Christ. Anyway, the T-1000 from T2 Judgment Day.
Okay.
Conan the Barbarian, specifically the Arnold Conan, and then they say Ghostface from Scream, but I would like to know who.
Who's playing Ghostface?
Yeah.
Who is it? My immediate, I don't know who it is. My immediate thought was, it should be Ghostface from Scary Movie. That'd be really funny.
Well, no, what I mean is that the Ghostface isn't like a guy who comes back. It's just it's a costume worn by the mysterious murderer of each Scream movie.
Right. Oh, so which Ghostface?
They're all like whodunits, basically.
Oh.
So I wonder if
Which
they'll
one
do a
is it?
system where sometimes you'll like fatality and it's like Matthew Lillard or someone from one of the new Scream movies, or maybe they'll do a thing where it's revealed Ghostface is actually like a different Mortal Kombat character underneath the costume every time. That would be cute.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah, because Ghostface isn't just a guy. Like, well, he is just a guy, but that's his legal name is not Ghostface. It's usually one of Cindy Prescott's friends. That's the or is that the Scary Movie character? Oh God. Oh God.
He doesn't
I'm
know.
losing it, Phantom.
He
Oh.
doesn't know. And you can't ask for me because I don't know either.
You don't know. Of
Yeah.
course you don't know.
If Spazzy was here, he'd know.
It is Sidney Prescott. I was right. Yeah. So yeah, that exists. I wonder how they'll look on the Switch.
Oh,
Like, I wonder
okay.
how pointy the ghost face, the Scream mask will look on the Switch.
So now at this point, I guess we kind of have to talk about the big elephant in the room, because we're, as we stated at the beginning of the episode, we're getting to episode 100 soon, and yeah, we just to be upfront, we probably mentioned this in a earlier episode as well, as in like earlier this year, that we're specifically plotting out the episodes for us to hit episode 100 at a certain point. And there is going to be another episode in August. There's going to be 2 episodes in August. Episode 99, of course, will be like August 11th. But the 100th episode of Morning Source Gaming is going to be August 18th, which also happens to be the 10th anniversary of Source Gaming.
Wow.
Yeah, I believe the first article posted on the Source Gaming website was 10 years ago that day, from what I saw. So I was like, oh hey, let's do something for this. And it's not just going to be the case that it's Good Morning Source Gaming on that one episode for that entire week of August 18th. So from August potentially August 11th, which is a Sunday, or started on August 12th, which would be the Monday, to August 18th, we are working on different things that basically showcase and that can call back to different aspects of what we've done over the years. So one plan is to have that we're bringing back some of the older members to converse about, what they're up to, their time at Source Gaming, but I don't know about what they're doing now, because that depends on what they can and can't talk about. But basically catching up with our older members like Push, or I think we've talked about Triss and Cody as well. I think I don't want to say their names, and then or if they're listening, they're like, huh? Wait, what happened? But
What the fuck? Spoilers.
yeah, but the
Spoiling
idea,
our Marvel cameos. God damn.
I mean, but yeah, the idea is to bring back some of the older members to talk with them about how they're doing. Another thing that we're planning to do is have a commentary, basically do a live. I don't know if we're doing it'll probably be a live stream of where we're commentating over the Rate the Character series. Because not only has it, of course, been a long time since we've done that, but there was a lot of mixed audience reception from the various characters that we did, and also the results that we've given them. And we also just have our own personal experiences and or beef with the videos that we created that we would just be really fun to talk about. Some of the things behind the scenes that occurred with some of the videos are just really funny. So talking about that is going to be really fun. We are one of the things that I'm working on personally for this 10th anniversary is a video about Street Fighter. I've been working on that video for like the past 2 weeks now. I guess maybe it was 2 weeks. Has it been 2 weeks, or was it longer?
Good question.
Yeah. it's been some time since we've been working on this video in the background, and this video in the background so far is literally just like it's half of it, or maybe a little bit less than half of it is written, but so much of it went into research. There was a lot of research. There's a lot of research, a lot of audio files that we had to try to find, and thankfully we were able to find it. Thanks to Luigi Blood, Yakumono, for helping us out with that. They did a lot of help with regards to pointing us in the right and pointing me in the right directions, and then some help in regards to I've had some help from some other places, from other people in regards to being able to find like the audio files for, you know, a Dreamcast game and for a PS2 game. So
Yeah.
there's some comparison now that I have to do between these things, and there's still a lot of work that needs to go into the video. There's a lot of work that I just have to do in general, because this is kind of, for what it is right now, it's not even an aspect of, oh, I want this to be my biggest video. It kind of is, oh no, this is going to end up being a really big video, and I want to give it, rather than work on it really fast and get it out. Not to say that most of my videos are worked on really fast and they immediately come out, but this is a video where I can very clearly tell there's a lot of work that's going to need to go into it, and I want to make it feel really special. So, but there's also other things that are going to be happening within that week too. Of course, like the next character roster stream will be happening there. I do not know if they want me to say what that roster will be about, but I think the votes have been pretty much unanimous. So if you have seen what the poll says, it is going to be that. The exact day that these things will be happening, can't say right now for sure, but we will be setting up a schedule that we will be posting later in the future. That is basically saying, hey, on this day is what we're going to be doing, and such and such. It's supposed to be, I believe, every day within that week up to Sunday, which would be the Wanderer episode. So episode Wanderer will be the big cap off, but that big cap off is going to be filled, led with so many things that we're working on right now at the moment. So as much as I can say for right now. Don't want to say too much that I'm not completely sure of, or too much where it's like lead up to expectations that end up not getting met. But we are looking to make our 10th anniversary feel very special. Not just for you guys in terms of enjoying what we put out, but for us in terms of having worked with Source Gaming for so long, worked on Source Gaming. So thank you so much for supporting us and sticking with us for this long.
Hell yeah. It's gonna be so fucking sweet. It's very exciting. I've been looking over everything we've been
it's very
planning in
nerve-wracking
chat.
for me.
Yeah, oh my god.
Because there are so many instances in the past where I've like, hey, I want to have this set ready for this time, and it's like, ooh, I'm really running down to the wire for this video, where it's like, okay, now I'm not really getting sleep.
Oh god,
So
yeah.
So it's like, and just to be clear, this is me doing it to myself. Nobody is doing this to me. I am complete.
Yeah.
I am my own time management is a fault of my own. So
We're just going at our own speeds, but we should
Right.
be. I mean, we should be good by then. We should
should be
have
good.
lots of cool stuff coming out over the next month or so.
Indeed. We got some other stuff that not just anniversary specific, but also that we're going to be working on as well, that are just freshen up aspects of the channel, like new animations for like the ending screen, which you're going to be seeing pretty soon. As in not the new ending screen, but just, you know, the ending screen that you've been seeing for like the past years. There's going to be an update to that to make it look cooler, just like how we updated the intro the intro transition for videos. So things like that you'll be seeing more of, and you know, 10 years is about time that we do another refresh. But we're not, it's not gonna be like a complete total rebrand. It's gonna be, you know, we've got a good foundation with the type of work that Nerbion and Voyager have done for us. So now, and Hero Wins as well too. So now we're gonna freshen up some of those things to introduce new aspects of it. Because right now, the graphics team is Slink, Creeks, and me. So we're gonna be implementing some of our vision into the different graphics that you'll be seeing, and if you've been checking out our website, which please do, you'll definitely have been seeing a lot of those things with Gunmetal Gaming, Wolfman's retrospective series of, I believe, the 2010s gaming. The type of games I released about within like the 2010s era, or I think within like 2009 to 2010s, or like kind of like that late 2000s to the turn of the decade with video games. And then also like beat the backlog for Heart Boys series. Crease made a new logo for that. And we're basically kind of in different aspects. We're touching up on graphics by like giving them new presentation with the headers and stuff like that. So you have like Center Stage, another series from Wolfman, and Player versus Player, a series from Hamada. So please stick to the website as well to see what ways that we're working on stuff, because it's not just the videos that we do. Once again, it's also the articles, and we have a frequent amount of articles, which also I should mention, Nanton was at Bit Summit. If you've seen it on our social media pages, he's been at Bit Summit. So we're going to have Bit Summit coverage that is also coming out on the website as well, for a multitude of games. So,
yeah, he's been a busy bee.
Yeah, he's been. That's why you haven't seen him as often lately, whether it comes to videos or on the or in regards to the episodes, because he's been busy. So we've kind of all been busy as well too, not just with personal stuff, but just things in the background of things that we're getting ready for the 10th anniversary to make things look really, really neat and really, really cool. But that's as much as I can say for right now, and we're about to hit the 2 hours and 10-minute mark. Then I think at that point we've covered a whole bunch of topics, and the really big important thing here, which is our 10th anniversary, that's coming up soon. So with that, I think we can say it's time to head on out.
Yeah. It's been a wonderful, wondrous yap.
Yeah.
I
We
love
got to a variety of
the
different
fandom.
topics this time around, so really fun. Thank you guys so much for watching, so much for tuning into, and once again, thank you for supporting us for the past 10 years. We will keep working hard. So thank you to our patrons that are being listed below. Well, not below, but on screen. And if you would like to become a patron, you can become a patron through the links at the bottom. Check out our social media. Once again, check out our website. And thank you so much for constantly returning to the source. And please continue to do so. Bye.